Good day to everyone, classmates and teachers. Before we start the topic, let me introduce myself. My name is LEXTER Edward CATACUTAN and I'm a BSESS coaching and I'm your moderator for today. But before start, we are some reminders, guidelines, and rules regulation while you are inside in the meeting discussion. The first is always wear a formal clothes. Make sure look presentable. Today's meeting are already recorded. Do not open your microphone if you are not speaking or answering. Make sure the signal is always strong and good. Above all the position, no one can disturb the pre-recording. Always raise your hand if you know the answer or if you know say something or ask the question. Group 1, the roundtable discussion. May I call on the first member of discussion? I'm LEXTER and I'm your moderator. The next is Mr. BASTIE TULABAN, the legal professional. Hello.
Hi, good day, everyone. My name is BASTIE TULABAN, and I'm representing legal sector.
Thank you, Mr. BASTIE. The second is the educational professional, Mr. King ZALAVARRIA.
Good day, everyone. My name is King JAZPHER B. ZALAVARRIA, representing education.
Thank you.
Thank
The third is professional practitioner, Mr. MARVIN PENAMORA.
Hi everyone, I'm Marvin D. PENAMORA, representative of sports practitioner sector.
Thank you, Mr. MARVIN. And the last member, the global international professional, Mr. EJ CAPULI.
Good day, I'm EARL Joseph CAPULI, representative of Global International Practitioner.
Okay. Thank you to all professional. Are you ready, professional? Let's start the first meeting. Discuss the reason why present the round table discussion. Sorry. Start the discussion for the topic, the effect of COVID-19 pandemic in physical education. The first question, what are the common observation, practices, causes, and risk factor for physical education and sports in a school setting, challenges, and issue amidst COVID-19 among Bataeños, and the legal issue? The professional answer this first question. Hello, Mr. BASTIE.
Thank you for the answer, Mr. CATACUTAN. The academic world is adversely affected when the pandemic. I can therefore say that the profession of physical education in sports is much affected because it requires physical interaction, lockdown, and protocols of the higher governing body restricts the students to do so. Moreover, it does not only end with that, but it also restricts the quality of education. For Bachelor in Science, Physical Education, profession, risk factors that the physical education and sports is facing the upcoming face-to-face class This makes everyone vulnerable of acquiring the disease if the rules and policy from the IATF and DOH are not implemented properly. Even though the universities see these issues and wants to take action, they are just waiting for the CHED, DOH, and IATF decision before they take actions. This challenges the universities to overcome these issues and still try to achieve academic excellence and quality education.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Basti Tulaban. How about the educational professional, Mr. King Salabaria?
Thank you, Mr. LEXTER CATACUTAN. Education, the common observation and risk factor, mental health challenges, issues amidst COVID-19 here in Bataan are depression, anxiety, traumatic stress, and etc., which lead in suicidal can really affect your mental health. An education sector, we need to educate awareness about our mental condition. We should able to provide our perspective and how to elaborate ourselves from different aspects as a human being. In fact, always look the positive side of being prone in this pandemic. We can conduct daily practices in exercise and different activities that can our life easier and better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King Salabaria. How about the third sector, the practitioner, Mr. Marvin?
Okay, again, good day everyone. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Okay, this is my insight about the common observation, practices, and risk factors. As one of the common changes in our country, our government introduced us to follow safety measures or safety protocols that assures our protection to global pandemic COVID-19. Here are some practices or guidelines they introduced to us. The importance of using face mask, face shield, alcohol sanitation, and a meter of social distancing. This is to prevent or reduce the rapid increasing of COVID cases. As of all the citizens in our city are aware of this risk, many situations in our daily life are changing. Many of the employer becomes unemployed, so they provide working from home like online selling of items such as gadget and foods and etc. Then there are also some changes in our education that we are facing now. Homeschooling, like in high school, distributing modules and paperwork. Then in college and universities, become online seminar and virtual meeting. So we are lack of physical contact with other members, friends, and colleagues. As of now, we are facing this new normal. I know this is very challenging to all of us. We have the worry and the fear of being exposed to virus. Even going outside, we're afraid so that we may come up a little bit issues about concerning mental health condition. But fortunately, there are a lot of things that we can do to look after our own mental health and to help others who may need some extra support and care. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Marvin Penamora. How about the fourth sector, the global, international, professional, Mr. DJ?
Okay, thank you. The holistic and integrative approaches to prevent academic crisis and management and ensure the readiness of public health emergencies for the Bataan in the context of physical education and sports. The COVID-19 pandemic has created unexpected challenges in education. As such, it possesses a great deal, not only health, but also academically. We must remember that at the onset of pandemic, mid-March of 2020, where school closed down to protect the teacher and the student from causing the virus. However, this did not happen in the continuity of education, though there is the absence of face-to-face class. In the context of this pandemic, universities have to start understanding and mitigation of long-term implications of this phenomena to teaching and learning process. Holistic and integrative approaches were made to prevent academic crisis. Resiliency in the educational system will overcome all the trials and challenges. Therefore, on the solution to address this crisis is to have an online classes which students and teacher will meet using Google Meet, Zoom to process educational amid and beyond this pandemic.
Thank you to all professional to answer my wonderful question. The next question, the number 2, what are the regulating and statutory policy and guidelines that example social and economic determinants of legal PE of Bataeños? Mr. Basti.
Again, thank you, Mr. Katakutan, for that question. And for that question, this is my answer. The IATF protocol and guidelines regulates the physical education profession in Bataan. We can say that they are keeping an eye for the profession since it is the number one requirement of the profession to have physical interaction. Even in the business industries, gym, instructors, and etc. are monitored to follow strict rules. On the other hand, everyone sees a window of opportunity. This situation, since physical education advocates physical and mental health, this factor could help in decreasing the following numbers of people having mental health problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Basti. How about the educational professional, Mr. King?
Thank you for that question, Mr. Lexter CATACUTAN. As an education sector, we are referring how being socialized with other people. Perhaps in this time, we need to realize some different practices like avoid social gathering and many of some prevention. As time dealing with this factor, be able to conduct this gather these guidelines, establish spreading of this virus. Always right to be disciplined no matter what it make us to be safe than to cure. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. King Salabaria. How about the practitioner professional, Mr. Marvin?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. What are the regulating policies and guidelines to social and economic of physical sports? Physical education and sports, as well as the promotion of health, fitness, and being physically active. PE is a valuable tool to assess a number of goals for students by educating the whole child and enabling them to also learn about teamwork, responsibility, leadership, respect, and fair play. PE and sporting activity is such about preparing students for long life participation, and with it, our health will benefits. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marvin Penamora. How about the last sector of question number 2? The Global International Professional, Mr. EJ Capuli.
Thank you, moderator. As a representative of Global International, the global effect of this pandemic does not only affect the educational system in our country, especially in the province of Bataan, but globally as well. Schools were closed down and classes were put to halt to prevent the spreading of the virus. At the same time, the educational system was changed from the face-to-face classes to different modalities.
Thank you, Mr. L. Joseph Capuli. After that, are you ready to move the third question? This is the third question. What what platforms, best practices, intervention mechanism to identify physical education and sports and socioeconomic consequences of poor preparation on academic, health, and legal like COVID-19 for Bataeño? The legal professional, Mr. Basti.
Thank you again for the question, Mr. Katakutan. As a legal sector, the most effective platform to spread the advocacy of physical education is the social media, because we are now in the digital era where most of Bataeños have access to internet. In this way, we can inform every Bataeños the benefits of physical education, create information infomercial to help the local government implement the guidelines and policies, be an influencer and a model that advocate health practice and proper COVID-19 response.
Thank you, Mr. Basti Tulaban. How about the educational professional, Mr. King Jasper Salabarria?
Thank you for that question again, Mr. Lexter Katakutan. For education, the best platform and the best practices that can examine social economic determinants of mental health conditions is a psychiatric hospital which can allow them to observe more of their mental health and community-based services that can bridge the gap base between the hospital care and living in the community. The COVID-19 pandemic has spread to almost all countries of the world. Social and physical distancing measures, lockdown of business, schools, and overall social life, which become commonplace to curtail the spread of the disease, have also disrupted many regular aspects of life, including sport and physical activity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King JAZPHER ZALAVARRIA. How about the practitioner, professional, Mr. Marvin?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. As a practitioner, many of us lack of access to exercise and physical activity. Best practices I implement to all of us we can do indoor is to do some stretching and doing house chores, climbing stairs, or dancing. Exercise at home without any equipment is limited space can still be possible. There are so many activities that we can watch internet, particularly for those who have internet access. There are many free resources on how to stay active during this pandemic. Now, while our community has been severely impacted by the current crisis, we became less physically active. That may result in challenges to our physical health, immune system failures. It may lead to existing disease that may be the worst result if we are not physically active. So I suggest to consult to an expert such as doctors, professional practitioners to look for our health issues and ask them for some advice. Consulting may help us feel comfortable and relief. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marvin. How about the global international professional, Mr. Earl Joseph Capuli?
Thank you. Globally speaking, due to pandemic, our economic policies were changed to adapt within the crisis to prevent the economic collapse due to the some restrictions of this COVID-19 pandemic. Aside from this, strict safety and health protocols were implemented to ensure the community is safety from the virus for Bataeños, especially in our sports society.
Thank you, Mr. Earl Joseph Capuli. After the question number 3, I will proceed to question number 4. Share present, propose and explain holistic and integrative approaches to prevent academic crisis and management and ensure readiness on public health emergency for Bataeños in context of physical education and sports and educational professional. Is answer this question, Mr. King.
Thank you again, Mr. LEXTER CATACUTAN, that question. A purpose and integrative approaches to local organization that will help both of our need of our need. The help or the organization will aid to strengthen their capacity by exchanges of the best practices that can we get by those the areas with HB will have a chance in handling the future outbreaks or out disease or autonomous kit. The COVID-19 pandemic has reconfirmed the need to elaborate community engagement to build equity, trust, and sustain action in future health promotion preparedness strategies. Using the health promotion strategy of strengthening community action enhance the opportunity for better outcomes. Therefore, a need to improve our understanding of community engagement practices during cases, scale up good community engagement initiative, and improve sustained people centered approaches to emergency responses. That's all. Thank you. Nakamute ka, Mr. Lexter.
Hello?
Nakamute si Lexter. Okay.
Here is my answer for question number 4. Holistic approach to prevent academic crisis. Many in our community are suffering trauma in real time. And so we are also holding that we're trying to learn and engage through online. I propose that educators provide a number of services to students to support their physical and mental health. At this time, providing counseling, seminars, webinars, and a variety of programs focus on mindfulness, which has been shown to help regulate emotional states, enhance mental flexibility, improve concentration and clarity, and allow us to connect and care for ourselves and others. Thank you.
Hello? Hello, Mr. Earl Joseph?
Hello? The COVID-19 pandemic has done so much in our community. The best practice for physical education globally is to set the students mid the pandemic sleep on our farm, physically fit, and that we can perform outdoor and indoor. This pandemic does not only affect the education, but our society as well. The SARS, the COVID-19 pandemic,
Thank you, Mr. Earl Joseph Capuli. And Thank you to all professionals. I appreciate your ideas, effort, and opinion during the first and last scenario. To end this activity, the professional, please share your own different advocacy or education campaign promoting mental health and preventing violence. May I see your own opinion? Hashtag Mr. Marvin Penamora.
Thank thank you. This is my hashtag fight COVID-19. And
And what your
my
advocacy?
advocacy to this, as a sports practitioner, I want to help people engaging in some physical activities every weekend, like dancing program in our municipalities here in Bataan, with the permission of municipal leaders. I think this will help people relieve their stress and depression. It will give them enjoyment, and in addition of preventing loss memory loss, and also help them become active and fit. Thank you.
Wow, a very good hashtag from Marvin Penamora. The next hashtag provided by King Jasper Salavaria.
This is my hashtag fight COVID-19. And my advocacy is, as an education, we can easily manage if we will only take each day the burden appointed to it. Stress should be a powerful driving force, not an obstacle. Keep calm and manage stress. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. King. I like your fighting spirit to fight COVID. And the third hashtag present to Earl Joseph Capuli.
Be hopeful, don't be discouraged. We can run the pandemic and sports education will live again.
And your advocacy.
Be hopeful, don't be discouraged. We can run the pandemic and the sports will live again.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. EJ or Earl Joseph Capuli, to the wonderful hashtag Be Hopeful. And the last hashtag, may I see your hashtag, Mr. BASTIE TULABAN?
Hashtag be the good one. As a student athlete and as a student and also athlete, my advocacy is to advocate people to be a social role model, to do right things, to avoid pandemics, such as 1 meter distance to each other, and always wash your hands and using alcohol and wearing a face mask in public places.
Thank you, Mr. BASTIE TULABAN. May I request all member of this roundtable discussion to open your cam and Mr. King, Hello, Mr. King JAZPHER. Are you okay?
Pipicture tayo, guys. Ay, kailangan natin.
Thank you.
Ano ba sasakyan natin? Taxi? Magkano naman babayaran nyo sa Grab? Oo, nakatakas na.
Okay. Thank you to all
Ka.
professionals to participate. Bye-bye. God bless to all.
I love you, Mayor.